Good evening.
Hi. Hi.
Hey. Okay, let's share some screen here.
Did you know that yesterday's Haftorah was electrifying?
That 2 days ago.
2 days ago. Yeah.
Um,
And that they don't read Rus in Chabad.
well, I died in shul yesterday for the first time in my life. Heard Megillah with a bracha, which is
Oh, cool.
the opposite of Chabad. The Chassidim, none of the Chassidim, a lot of Chassidim don't learn the Megillahs at all. And this Mamish Fakir, they learn Megillah with a bracha, which is the minhag
Did they
HaRah.
make a Shechayona too?
Yeah,
Ooh, nice.
yeah.
Wow. Well, I was using this sitter at shul yesterday.
Oh, yeah, it's a nice sitter. I like that
It
sitter.
is. It's
Yeah,
very nice.
yeah.
So I just use it to get them riled up.
Okay. Good for you.
No, I usually use the same sitter, but for Yontif, I use this sitter because it's a very nice one. So I didn't have anything special to wear, so I brought a nice sitter instead.
Nice, nice, nice. Okay. All right. Very good. All right. So I think we're up to Lamed Bays.
Yes, sir.
Haplagim. Yivlei Amayim Shel Chaim. The plagim um, means I'm not sure it means in this context, but it normally means things which branch off. And Yivlei Mayim are like um, small canals of water. Uh, um, I said rivulet. I think it's too small. I think it's a different term. It's escaping me right now. But Chaim Elyonim, they bring down the the life from on high, Shana Shama Torah of the Holy Neshama, Ma'amakim Zarmim, and they flow in the deep. Ma'amakei Teva Gufani, in the depths of the physical nature, or the nature of the physical. ובתחתית הבוץ והאדם אינם הומים ברעשים. So I think we're dealing with this again, consistent with Rav Kook's Chiddush over the past few pieces, that the highest spiritual forms manifest themselves in the very physical existence of this world, and the Chaim Milyonim manifests itself in the Basar V'Dam, and they in the depths, in the tachtis of the Basar V'Dam. They are Homan Ro'esh. They are very very much in turmoil and very much make a lot of noise. Onam ispratim hem el al. So however, they burst out high from being buried deep down. Talking bochim, they cry out and they shout out and they cry. Misnodedim, they wander around. V'kovlim, and they complain. Misamtzim, they make efforts, mispatlim, and they contort themselves. And mispatlim, be'ein have lalos el with no, which obviously means it's very hard for them to get out from where they're deeply buried and concealed, but they're trying with all their might and all the various different contortions and difficulties and extraordinary efforts to get out, ein have without ceasing, lalos el to go up to the highest heights. Ligalos b'tzura mira chayim shlemim, to be revealed in a way which illuminates, which is alive, which is a full life. So again, we're dealing with things which have a very high origin and then become down and get embedded very profoundly and deeply in the physical, and then have to go through tremendous efforts in order to reconnect to the spiritual. And this is obviously mean Mikadesh the Chomer, as the adherents of Rav Kook would say, right? Using the material world in a way which is Mikadesh it, which sanctifies it. And this is, he's saying, is intrinsic to the nature of the physical, that it has this quality that it's trying to unite and rise up towards its spiritual source. Wants to be Malayim Ziv, full of radiance, Hod, majesty, pe'er, glory, hadras, gevuras, kodesh kodashim, and the splendor of the power of that which is the Holy of Holies. Ashriya ish, Hashmel kol nishmaso as kol nishmaso mitoch ma'amakav. According to this, you would expect Rav Kook to have been a jogger or a runner or a player of ball. But I don't think he actually was himself. I think I'm sure he wasn't. So I think he's just he's contending that there is this inclination. But I think for him, this is very, very other directed, not talking about his own self. But he says, you can correct me if you think I'm wrong. But Asher Isha Shemel Kolish Masovi Toch Ma'amakav. Praise the person who listens to the sound of his soul out of his depths. V'ashrei Am. And now we come to a national level. Until now, I tell you about an individual level. Ashrei Am, praiseworthy the nation, Hamazin Esheid Kol, which listens to the echo of the sound, Shal Neshama Kol Yisholo, of its general Neshama. Hechiz Miska Eshes, how it flows like lava, right, like a volcano. We're talking about Makeh out of its depths. V'ashrei Amakshiv HaTohor, and praiseworthy is the person who listens with purity. Ashrei Akshiv is a basko who listens to the sound, the voice. Shokole Yitzur, the basko comes from obviously a very high and very, very hidden place. And he hears the basko, Shokole Yitzur, of every creature. Hakorei mitoch ma'amakav, which calls out of its depths, Lizgalus Bihira, for a clear revelation, El Yonah, and a high revelation. Tehorah, which is holy, Uktosha, and pure. Oro Shel Mashiach, it's the light of Mashiach, Nason B'kileha Yisurim, which is entrapped in the prison of the afflictions, Shel Amke Amakim, of the depths. Veis Ketza Gula, you're very quiet. So far, you agree with everything I said?
No, I'm just, this book seems like a very Hasidish book.
No. Chasim don't jog. Chasim don't actually.
No. But I mean, the way he imbues all of creation with this inner spirituality and this spiritual element.
Yeah, listen, real
it's
Hasidim,
not very Litvish.
Yes, it's not Litvish, but it's not really Hasidish either, because the real Hasidim, they're not much. They're in their hanhagos, they're not much different than the Litvaks. They don't go around, okay, they eat kugel and herring, but they're not going out and going and jogging or playing football or going swimming to do all these things and uplift their spirit material, their physical faculties. They don't they glorify experiences, but they don't glorify the development of the physical.
Okay. It just seems like, well, I don't want to say this, but it's a very, let's say this, Christianity tells us that we are already in messianic times and the physical has already become partly spiritual, and therefore the laws the halacha and things don't apply anymore. And imbuing the physical world with this, this spiritual element, and saying that it's he mentioned Mashiach here somewhere. That seems like a very dangerous idea.
Okay, that I'll grant you. It is dangerous. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, okay. That's the Christian ethic, is that the Messiah is here. He was here. He's still here, and so therefore,
but obviously he's not saying the Messiah is here. He's saying that there's a Mashiachiyut in this revelation of the use of the physical and the spiritual for spirituality.
Yeah, I think the opposite side of that is the way that the Rambam and the Gaon feel that the world is just the world, and it's a negative thing, or it's just physical. There's no element to it.
Yes, agreed.
So I just it's a very Tanya-like philosophy. I mean,
I don't know. You think a Chabad's would learn this and he would see Chabad in this?
I don't know. I mean, their whole idea.
Go do an experiment. Show it to Lubavitch.
there's only Atzmusai, there's only Atzmusai Yisbarach, and so everything is Hashem because that's all there is, and there
Yeah, but
can't be
that's not
any
what he's saying
parts.
there. He's
What's
not
that?
saying. He's not saying that. He's not. It's
Yeah,
not. It's not panentheism. He's not saying that here.
yeah, yeah,
But okay, let's see. So he
yeah.
said, "Uveis ketagula when the gula comes, beis asher rak kavechad yigaleh, when only one line will be revealed, b'tchuna shel ezes arutz ora." I get even one line will be revealed. I think it means will be revealed bitchuna in the characteristics shel ezes arutz ora of some glow of light. Lachish Yeshua close the base Yisrael when to bring a general to quicken the bringing of a general Yeshua time. So you got Lu, they'll be revealed, be chasfu and opened up. Elas Samonim, these signs. Hamorim Outsakasa Omek, which indicate the shout from the deep. So evidently it's saying it's all waiting just for the faintest opening of opportunity to connect. We don't call nos are close to proteos, and out of all the movements, whether they're general or specific, and whether they are of the soul or of the body. Yukshava soil kol hadir v'chazak. You're going to hear that very powerful and strong voice. It's interesting, the one he chooses. Kol Brahman Ishma. The voice is heard in Rama. The anguish of the cry, bitter tears. Rachel crying on her children, Rachel refusing to accept consolation on their children because they are not there. So he says, a fascinating thing, he says it's called that at the time of Mashiach, there's going to be a cry, a bitter cry, an outpouring of anguish on the which emanates from this physicality and this power of physicality and the nature of it, and it's going to cry out in anguish with a need to be redeemed. V'akol oleh, and his voice will, the sound will come out, umisaleh, and be uplifted. So I think this is Rav Kook's shita that the Zionist movement or other movements of that sort have glimmerings of elements of tshuva to them, and the tshuva is manifest in this b'chi tamrurim, the bitter cry that we need to have redemption, which even will come from the great physical forces and the great physical nature, the nature of the physical. It'll come out the b'tchunos chaim maaseh and characteristics of life and deed, b'tchunos ra'ayim machshon characteristics of thought and of ideas and thoughts, b'tchunos hamon goyim b'ruach haritzim, and the characteristics of the masses of the nations and the power of the strong rulers. Very, very broad manifestations here. It's a place where one would certainly not expect it. B'tchunos nefashos kmehos, and characteristics of souls which yearn, or ghosts umikavos, which have a I'm not sure how to translate orgos is different than kmehos, but it's also a form of yearning and hoping. B'tchunos chomei chalamos, in the characteristics of those who dream dreams, koasim miskapsim, even though they're angry and they're frothing. In other words, all the people who represent the various different isms, right? Whether they're anarchists or nihilists or communists or socialists or Zionists or whatever isms they represent, right? They're dreamers and they're angry and they're frothing, but they too will have this yearning to drive for a connection to being oleh umit aleh. B'tchunos anshe yeshuv mesidus will also be in the characteristics of people who are civilized and calm and deliberate. Bonim u'shachlim, those who build and those who enhance. B'tchunos anshe kodesh, and of course also in the characteristic of the holy people, mashkifim, who gaze upon everything which is happening, u'makavim, and hope. Poalim are active, and sofim, and gazing, for Yeshua Ugula. It's a piece of Yeshua. Mikulam, from all these various different aspects. Yalu, they'll come up, Yigalu, and they'll be revealed. Zirmei, Afiken, Achlim Shemamakim, the flows of those riverbeds of the depths. Shkulam Amrim Osa Chua Hamnuchemes. And then they will all say, I guess they will all say to themselves and to each other, that Mini Kolech, the response to Kobra Manishma. Mini Kolech Mibechi Beinach Midima, curtail your voice from crying and your eyes from tears. Because there is reward for your activity in Hashem. The Shavam Eretz Oyeh, the return from the land of the enemy. There's hope for your end, promises God. The Shavam Banim L'Gvulam, and the children return to their boundaries. So that evidently is the final statement, is that all these characteristics of the things which seem like they are very far away and very distant, and kavachomer, things which are closer and less far away and more illuminated, they all have this drive to a collective tshuva, a collective yearning towards redemption, towards utopian society, and the nechama will come to all of them.
I think throughout this book, I think he's trying to, as you said, there's a lot of isms, communism, Marxism, whatever. So Zionism could have been in that category too, just another movement. And I think he's trying to lay down or to imbue it with a more spiritual content, and to show that it's not just a political or economic or militaristic or nationalistic movement, but rather it's more of a spiritual yearning, and it has spiritual elements to it, and that differentiates it from other isms, which are more have no spiritual element, or more practical.
They all have spiritual elements here. No. They all have spiritual. There could be much more direct than one than the other, but they're all spiritual.
Well, I think he was trying to show that, people were dismissing the Zionists as, just Jews being like the other nations, and here he's showing no, there's this deep element of Eretz Yisrael and the all the things that he has that he talks about, and all these yearnings and all these spiritual rivers and things like that. All of that is showing a different side of Zionism. Everybody in the old Yishuv and Eretz Yisrael was against the Zionists, and those people, we can't even talk to them and everything like that. And here he's saying, no, there's a real thing there. It's not just another movement or a political or national movement.
Yeah, it's true. But in this piece, he's not stressing that.
Right. No, yeah. But all of this is all tied together with all of the spiritual type things that he's saying. He is providing the spiritual framework for the movements, and trying to attract people who may have been against it, by saying that no, there's this redeeming quality to it.
Right. And the next piece, Orot U'Techiyaso Aleph, which is next, so he's going to get, I think, more into detail about how to do it. You see, he says, I'm not going to, it's a very long piece, I'm not going to do it now, but you've been a Yisroel U'Techiyaso Das L'Kusa Yikar Seyach Zil Kil Lama Klali L'Kol Prat Ma'aslav HaChomei Ruchlim Kiach Zil Neshama Tzar Ruchoniyah Mechayim Mali Or Kiyum Pricha Or Laguf El Davan Yel Shchaim Orot Fracha. Okay, all that is just a preamble. Hayachas Hazek Shu Misma B'Lev and Eveshum Malasom Ava Yosem Yira. And now he's going to tell us that the way to deal with all these things is not by Yira, it's by Ava, I think.
Okay.
Right.
It's very interesting to see I don't know what the word would be, like the evolution or the Ishtalshalus of this philosophy as he presents it, with each piece revealing another sort of element of of the spiritual nature of all of these things. It's in other words, he wasn't just writing some essays. He was laying down an entire philosophy for a movement that he saw developing, or that was developed or developing in the future. He was laying down the spiritual framework for a Jewish state.
Yeah, and for BS Mashiach.
Yeah. Well, he connects those two.
Right.
He feels that they're very, very, very well, connected together.
Yeah,
so
he does.
it's very, like I said, it's not just a bunch of unrelated essays. He is laying out an
it seems like we're
entire philosophy, an entire framework.
Yes. Okay. Well,
very good.
Next time with
Thank you very much.
Okay. Have a good week. Take care.
Yes, take care.
Bye-bye.